if you guys want to make your very own RPG, I'm roasting you guys going to the right place. This video is going to cover ranged mobs, ranged weapons, magic, and all that stuff. So let's go and get started with ranged weapons. Ranged weapons I feel like are the easiest to work with in terms of the stuff we're going to work with today. So to start off ranged weapons, what we're going to need is get an example of a ranged weapon, which would be in items, tools, and a crossbow. Or you can use the cannon itself too if you want to, which is the template dropped from the pirate Mega Boss or Spawn Boss, so pretty cool. But anyways, we're going to go and copy this crossbow and I'll show you guys how to work with this. So we're going to go ahead and get the classic granny crossbow and we'll go ahead and make it into this guy. And as if I actually have it. Does it actually have it? Actually, give me a second quick. Okay, so how ranged weapons and magic weapons work is that they have this thing in the handle called a cast point, which is basically where the arrow will be summoned at, or the projectile will be summoned at, whether you're looking at magic or whether you're looking at a magic weapon or a ranged weapon. So that's pretty much where the cast point is, and if you search for cast point, you'll notice that most of the other mobs also have it too, and they're weapons as well. So it's not, so basically mobs also use this as well. This has also been a thing in Orion's RPG kit, but many people would rather forget about it, so we're just going to move on. So we're going to go and get the texture of Granny's crossbow, as we did right here. So now we got ourselves a new crossbow for Grandma. Be nice to your grandmas, people. Just remember to be nice to your grandmas because they've been nice to you and they've helped raise your parents. So yeah. Anyways, moving on. Okay, so now that you got your granny crossbow or other crossbow, now we just need to make the projectile for it. And where do you find the projectiles at? Well, it's actually pretty simple. What you need to do is go into assets. You'll see something called projectiles. Instead of being casting mesh or like so basically instead of being casting mesh or something else like that, it's called projectiles. This is where you'll find the arrows, cannonball, ice ball, fireball, ice ball, and all that stuff. So we're going to copy this arrow right here, paste it, and we're going to go ahead and change it to pink just for the hell of it, honestly. So I think pink is 101, if I'm correct. Yeah, I guess so. We're just going to make it, yeah, give it a second quick. Okay. That will work. So this will be our arrow for now, for our template, and I guess we'll go from there. So then what we're going to do is change our trail, which will be the trail that we used as our example, so just why not, so. Alright, now we're going to call this Granny Arrow, and we're going to go and put it into projectiles. Now projectiles can pretty much be anything, honestly. You get projectiles can be anything, as long as it's like as long as it has everything on here default and stuff. Also, another thing another thing you can do is an attribute. You can add an attribute called can't stick and make it boolean. And if you make it false, it'll basically like not stick and it'll not like show up. Basically like when it hits something, it'll just instantly remove itself. So you may notice that the ice ball has no can't stick. That means that it will be removed as soon as it hits something. What will happen was that the arrows will stick around for a bit until for a couple seconds or something like that, then it'll just disappear. So yeah, pretty cool. Anyways, let's go ahead and make our. So next up, let's go now that we got our arrow, let's go and work with the stuff we needed to make this. So what we need is, so for this we got ourselves a level, which we've done before. We're just gonna make this into 2, I guess, just for hell of it, or let's do 12. Seems like kind of a little 12 more, so I know. And for damage, we're just gonna do 20 through 30. And no, we're just gonna do. Okay, so it's 20, 30. That's gonna be the damage because I'm not sure why not. And for the arrow, and then for the casting mesh, this is basically what you find. The casting mesh is basically what we put in projectiles. For this one, we're gonna use Granny Arrow just for the hell of it. And then what we can do now is, I believe, and then we got ourselves this stuff here, which is custom settings, but you probably want to just want to know. But you can look at it for yourself if you want to. But I'm not gonna go over specifically that. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty much how to make a crossbow. So we got ourselves a granny crossbow. So that's nice. And with that, we can now go put it into our store with the shop, which by the way, I put the granny arrow in the items, in the tools items of the tool section of the items folder. So that's all I give you guys up on. So yeah. Anyways, what we can do now is get a tool, and we can call this, and call this Granny Crossbow or something like that. So let's go ahead and see if it works now. I'm sure this will be interesting to work with, so let's go and play it and see if it works. If not, then we probably just time around, but it's whatever, we all make mistakes, so yeah. Anyways, let's take a look at that, and you'll probably see, we got ourselves an error here. Granny Crossbow has not, oh, I know what's going on now. I completely forgot. I accidentally put it in sell, not buy. Let me fix that real quick. Okay, I had a feeling that was gonna happen. So yeah, right here. So basically, what we're gonna do is make the sell price nile, which will basically be 230 divided by 2. So that's basically, I don't know. You can do math, I guess. So you can do the math yourself if you guys want to, but whatever. Anyways, what we got, so let's go and see if we got here, see if this works. And yeah, we got ourselves a Granny Crossbow, so I guess we'll buy it and we'll go from there. Alright, we got ourselves a Granny Crossbow, so let's go and see if this works now. That is our Granny Crossbow. Let's use that as an example. Yep, you'll see that we got ourselves a custom arrow, so yeah. It's pretty cool. Nice. Amazing. Alright, so now that you have a more clear idea on how to make your RPG game with ranged weapons, we're going to go ahead and make a ranged mob. With these ranged weapons, and who better yet to do it with than the Sand Sage from the Orange RPG kit game that we made a year ago? I don't know. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and use this guy as our tutorial template, and we'll go ahead and make this guy work. So right now, we just can clearly tell we haven't changed anything about him. We have the same old stuff from the old game, and clearly it's not working properly. So let's go ahead and do something about it. So let's go ahead and copy the ranged goblin that is in the kit itself, aka the pirate goblin. Copy this guy's config, and let's go and move him into the Sand Sage. Now, before moving on to before we continue with this, I want to give you guys a heads up that in order to have ranged mobs, you're going to need a type of tool with a handle and a cast point. This cast point is basically where the mobs use. Kind of like the ranged weapons, but except the mobs can use it. So basically, it's pretty much like the ranged weapons. So basically, what we're going to do is use this as our way to move, as our way to put the spells together and all that stuff. So yeah, let's get to it. So let's go ahead and copy the Sand Sage portal or mob, and let's go and work with the Sand Sage. So we currently have the Sand Sage right here. We're gonna copy this, change the rank to boss, and we're just gonna we're just gonna do the usual stuff that we've done here before. Change the level, all that stuff. Color, I don't think we really need color, but if we want to, we can, I guess. So yeah, we're gonna go and make the health 38, I guess. Make the damage 21, I think that's what we did, and then for the what else we got here? We also gave him a tool like this, but since it's a bit more of a different format, we're gonna go ahead and copy the drops if I can find them. We're gonna go ahead and move this. We're gonna delete these. We're gonna delete this and make him drop a sand staff, which we'll basically use for our magic weapon tutorial, or what magic weapon section of the tutorial. So yeah. Now what we're going to do is give him XP, and I guess we're going to go from there, I guess. So yeah, that'll be nice. Now we've got that out of the way, let's go ahead and show you guys how to do this. So in the mob projectile, in the mob section, in the config section, you'll see this thing called projectiles. This is where you can config the mob sound effects and all that stuff. So prior to this, all the animations and sounds were configured by this in Orange RPG kit, but we're not going to do that today because, why would we? So yeah, anyway, we're going to go and get the activate sound. We're going to paste it into here. This has to be the ID, not like anything else, not the number ID, not like the URL or something like that. But yeah, anyways, now we got that away. We're going to go ahead and make a new bullet on here called sand spell or sand orb, which I usually do. I usually call it sand or sand spell, but we're just going to modify it. Okay, so I decided to get the sand orb from the original game, from the Orange RPG kit game, and we'll go and move into projectiles and go from there. So there we go. Now let's go ahead. Now what we're going to do is go into our new mod config. Wait, is this the new mod config? No, this is the wrong one. Okay, we're just gonna delete this and move to this guy, and I think for the then for the projectile, what we're gonna do is go into here and select the projectile you want. So projectile, so basically it gets replica storage access to projectiles instead of the casting mesh, which pretty much is right here, which we put in here already. So yeah, anyway, just go ahead and play and see what we get now. So let's make sure I got everything, making sure everything's working real quick. Also, just for health, I'm actually gonna go ahead and make the go ahead and actually just a quick tip. I'm actually just gonna go ahead and make the. Actually, should I do it or should I not? Yeah, I see why not. Alright, so what we're gonna do is make okay. I was thinking of making the boss data UI stuff, but or showing you guys how to work with the boss data, but we'll worry about that later. It's basically like an entity type of boss bar, health bar. It's kind of like how you find the health bar down here of mobs, except it's a boss health bar itself that shows up every time you're close to it. I think I made a video on this before. Oh yeah, I actually did in the first part. So yeah, okay, not really needed. All right, so next up, what we're gonna do now is add the tags and create the mob. Give him the mob tag and move him into the mob cell folder, and we should be good. If not, then I guess we'll have a look at it. So let's do it. I'm not sure if this will work, but I guess we'll find out just for hell of it. Okay, I'm just gonna get my headphones on real quick just so that I can make sure it's working. And here we are. We're here. Wait, am I? Wait, give me a second. Okay. I'm not sure if what happened, but is it here working? Yeah. I think you probably might have heard it a bit louder. That's because I have my desktop audio and my Discord audio on, and apparently Discord was linked to my. Yeah, it's weird. But and we're just gonna go into Portal Castle, and we're gonna go and see if this works. So, Pirate spawned. That's cool. Also, there's also people asking me how do I make. There's also some art thing. There's also some art tech I want to show you guys at some point if I do remember. But if not, then it's whatever. But anyways, this is the Sand Sage. I should be ready if I'm correct. Yep, there he is, right there, the Sand Sage. So what we're going to do is go ahead and come to it, and you should see that, yes, he indeed does work. So yeah, that's nice. He finally works. Let's go. So, and yeah, okay, I forgot that. Okay, so yeah, we got ourselves a Sand Sage, and now what we're going to do is make a Sand Staff. Alright, so what I'm going to do is get the Sand Staff from the original game, and, which, it shouldn't take that long. Yeah, Sand Staff right here. So what we're going to do is get the original staff from the RPG kit game, the orange RPG kit, and, we'll go and move it, and we'll go and use it as our base for ej0w's kit. So, basically, we're just going to delete all this that we don't need anymore. And but I think the only thing you really need is just a cast point, which will be used to make it'll basically just be used to it'll be used it'll be used for the magic weapons. So yeah, we're gonna move on to magic weapons now, since magic weapons are kind of necessary. But actually, since I did say I'll go over one magic weapon, so let's go ahead and make a magic weapon. So to make magic weapons, it's actually kind of like the ranged weapons, except they're a bit more different. So what you're gonna need, it's kind of like the casting mesh too. So, but what you're gonna need is go into effects. You'll see two things. You got the Ambitter and the Impacts. Arbiter, I don't know. Not the Impacts. Actually, no, not Impacts. That's for ores. But basically, the Arbiter, and select these two things right here, and you'll see projectiles and VFX. This is where this is for the magic module that ej0w made herself, if I'm correct. I could be wrong, but yeah. Anyways, what we're gonna do is duplicate these two things, and we're gonna call it Sand Elemental, and we're gonna go ahead and make it the color of the sand ore, which is bright yellow. So we'll go ahead and do that. So we're gonna go and make the color of the Sand Elemental projectile yellow, and we'll make the VFX. So basically, in case you guys want to know what these are, what's the difference between these? The projectile is a base projectile that's basically summoned when you press it. So basically, it's basically like a projectile. You notice this is a projectile, and it's a trail and stuff. That's basically what happens when you click on it, and then the VFX. Well, you should have an idea of what it is. But if not, let me go ahead and enable for you, and I'll show you what we got. So wait, is it enabled? Oh, it is enabled. Huh. Okay, but this is it's basically the VFX used to It's a VFX when it hits an mob or something like that. So yeah. And what we're gonna do is go to Sentimental and change the attachment to trail thing to change. We're gonna change the trail real quick to a bit something more different. I use the I do use the numbers, the gradient sequence, which is the color sequence. It's basically like a trail that changes within colors for those who don't know particles. But yeah, pretty much. And okay, close. All right, and now what we're gonna do is get our Sentimental smoke, and I guess we'll change it to this since I don't usually go that far with it. But yeah. Anyways, that's that. So now we got that away. What I'm not going to show you is the sound that it uses. So this is the impact sound that we have here. So if we press play it, you'll notice that it is the impact sound that is used when you hit a mob. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyways, now that we got that away, now that we made the VFX and projectiles, we can now start configuring our stuff, or configuring the mob itself. Or no, the weapon itself. So what we're gonna do is, let's do one real quick. Let's make sure it's maskless. Yes, maskless. Okay. I made sure of it ahead of time. Good to know. Anyways, what we're gonna do is go to items and go to tools, and you'll see something called Druid's staff or Druid staff. This is the staff this is the staff, the magic weapon that came with the kit. So what we're gonna do is paste this item config in here, and we're just gonna go ahead and set the ID denial so that's pretty much what I did. And we're going to go ahead and set its level to this guy's level, which is not 9, it's 10. So this is 10. And we're going to go ahead and set its sell point to, I guess we could do like 220 AV, I guess. Honestly, why not? And then, or maybe we could do like 65, I guess. Yeah, 65. 165, yeah, that'll work. And then the damage, typical, so I guess we'll make it the damage he has, which is like 12 to 21, I guess. We'll just do like 12 to 21, I guess, so yeah. And then you got the typical stuff like auto fire, tool look and all that stuff. But then you will notice that we got this stuff right here, which is the magic. So this is where you'll see the mana cost and the stuff that we have here. So this is where you can customize the coloring and other VFX stuff. So basically we got the Arbiter suit, which if you switch it up, it's on here. But if you want to know how to make. Oh wait, no, that's not how you do it. Was it? I think there was some. I know that it had like. They had like their own suits, I think. Yeah, right here. So basically, it runs this code. This is the code it runs when it's doing that. But if you want to know how to do that, I guess you can figure out yourself. But yeah. Anyways, that doesn't matter if you just want to make your own magic weapon. So basically, the blast radius is. But let's just get into the configuration itself. So the blast radius is the radius that the AOE damage attack they get here. Then you got circle colors, which is like the colors used to basically start. The circles are basically like other VFX stuff that is used to make it look pretty much more cooler. So we're going to go ahead and change the colors to these to color 3.new or that from RGB. New is a bit different, but I'm just going to use from RGB because I'm used to this. And then what we're going to do is change this projectile to Sentimental and change the VFX to Sentimental, which basically you may notice that the projectile and VFX are pretty much like what they have here. So basically what we had here. So basically if you want to make an ice elemental or an ice type of projectile VFX, then you can do that too. And then, yeah, pretty much. So, and then for the mana cost, we'll just do. I guess we could probably try. Let's try like 80, maybe, just as a test and see what it looks, see how much mana we got. So, yeah, what we're gonna do is put the sand staff into items, and yeah, we're gonna go and see if it works now. And then we're just gonna go and kill this guy, and then he should drop the sand staff. If I'm correct, if we did it correctly, yeah. There it is. So, all right, let's play and see what we get here. Yeah. I will admit though one thing. I will admit one thing, Matt. the magic VFX the magic module library isn't compatible with mobs. The mobs can't use that, but they can use range. So that's probably the next best thing if you want to do that. So yeah, I was gonna go and kill this guy, and there we go. Oh, wow, 59, nice. Anyways, here he is, the man himself, the sand stage. So what we're gonna do is go and kill this guy, and we should get a sand staff. So the sand staff, oh yeah, the coloring. You may be wondering how to change the color. You may be curious. You may notice that we got a color. Well, you may wonder how to change the color. Well, before we do that, let's just go ahead and I'll show you this real quick. Boom. Sand staff works now, as you can tell. So yeah, the mana does, and you'll see that it does change mana too. And yeah, it's pretty much how you make your own staff in this kit. So pretty cool, honestly. Yeah. Anyways, now we got that away. I'm probably gonna show you guys how to make. Well, actually, let me figure out something. Let me actually do this real quick, just for the hell of it. I can't remember. Wait, what was I gonna do again? I can't remember. I know I was gonna do this, but I remember saying I was gonna show you guys how to do something. I can't remember what it was. Oh my god. Okay, so I finally figured out what I was going to show you guys. I was going to show you guys how to make how to make colors and gradients and all that stuff. So yeah, it's actually pretty. So you may notice that we had our own like color. As you can tell, if we kill the buyer, you'll see that the pirate's weapon had its own like color and stuff. You may be wondering how the hell you get these type of colors into your with these like custom rarities and stuff like that. Well, it's actually pretty simple actually, and I'll show you guys that right now. In order to do this, you're gonna have to go. Let's just go ahead and like. I think I showed you guys how to do it earlier, but I guess I'll show you guys how to do it again in case you kind of forgot, or in case you're probably too lazy to look at the old RPG kit tutorials I made. But yeah, and we're just going to look at the sand staff. If I can find sand staff right here, and this is the stuff that we use because this is a custom background, and this is the special color. So we're going to go and change the special color to, I don't know, I guess yellow, just for the hell of it. And if we change, and if we play it again, you may notice that it is a different color, as you can tell here. So yeah, that's pretty much how you make your own like different colors and all stuff. And you may be wondering, how do I make it? You may be wondering, how do I add gradients too? Well, that's actually another reason. Yeah, that's another way you can do it too. Basically, what you need to do is go into the effects and go to gradients section, press the folder, or press the plus button, and search a UI gradient. And then what we're going to do is make our own gradient. So we're going to give the gradient crossbow a bit of its own gradient. And we're just going to call it Be Nice to Your Elders, I guess. And we'll go from there. Anyways, so what we're going to do is close, and I think now that that's over with, we're just going to call it Be Nice to Your Elders. Because, you know, that's just how it is. Now we got that, we just copy this. Let's go into the gradient crossbow itself. And for the custom background, what we're going to do is Be Nice to Your Elders. First color and gradient used for the tooltip color. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. All right. So we're going to go and play and see what we get now. And if we play it, we should have a new, right there. And you'll see it's something on down here called Be Nice to Your Elders. This is the gradient that it has. So you'll notice that this is the gradient, and the gradient name shows up on the bottom, as you can tell. Unlike the sand staff, which doesn't have gradient, doesn't show up. But yeah, pretty cool, honestly. So yeah, Be Nice to Your Elders, as usual. I mean, they've helped you out a lot, I can tell. But it really depends on who you ask, I guess. But in my opinion, I mean, that's whatever. So yeah, all right. But yeah, that's really pretty simple tutorial. I guess I'll also show you how to make one more thing real quick too, since I've been asked this quite a bit. How do I make spawn bosses? How do I make these bosses that spawn everywhere and move up? So I'll show you that actually. So this is the pirate right here. This is the custom spawn boss we have. He has his own like custom. He has like his own cannon stuff. So I'll show you guys how to do that. So yeah, let's go ahead and show you. I'll show you guys how to do that. So basically, it's actually pretty simple to work with here. But just for hell of it, I'll just go ahead and show you guys how to do it. So what we're gonna do is get our own like custom mob. Because we're going to make this guy, and we're going to go over and make the Sealess King from the Orange RPG Kit tutorials. Just for the hell of it, I'm not sure. I just feel like bring back these guys for memory lane stuff. So I'm just gonna copy. I think I have the Sealess King somewhere in that folder. So just a second. I think it's this guy right here. Yeah. Oh. Okay. So we're just gonna paste him in here. I believe we should paste that. And yet this is the Sealess King. Give it a second. And we're also gonna go ahead and copy his. We're also gonna go ahead and delete this. Copy these as well. And then there's that. Give me a second real quick. I know what we're gonna do is copy this, paste this into here, and oh my lord, that is huge. I think I might need to scale it down a bit. Yeah. Let's see if that works. That does not work whatsoever. Okay. Let me hit the tool grip real quick and fix it, or figure out how to fix it. All right. Oh, that was quick. Nice. And voila. That should fix it, hopefully. So, yeah, all right. So now we got that. Let's go ahead and... does he have a hat? Yeah, he did have a hat. I'm just going to copy the entire Seals King and just paste him in here, and we'll go from there. Yeah, what the hell? Okay. Oh, right, I forgot. I got rid of the pants. All right, so basically, we're just going to go ahead and make him to, we'll change his color to 1, and that way it'll be a bit more easy to work with. And what we're going to do is copy his hat over to here. And then we're just going to copy the hat onto here. And we'll go from there. Now then, we're just going to delete the Seals King. We're going to go ahead and weld his new hat over to here. So, without accessories, but yeah. Anyways, now that we got that away, we should be good. So, let's go ahead and make him a boss. So we're going to go ahead and you're going to make him into a boss, and we'll go from there. So I feel like what we should do for him is we're just going to go ahead and name him Seals King, just for the hell of it. And then what we're going to do is give him the name. You can change his variable to boss, or maybe we could spawn boss. What did they have it as in the pirate? I just want to take a look at that real quick, honestly, just out of curiosity. Okay, okay, they had Nile. Okay, fair enough. I guess we'll just make it Nile then at this point. So then what we're going to do is change his level. I think for the Seals King, I made his level 29, so I guess we'll go from there. Yeah, okay. So, alright, so we'll just make it 29, and then we'll give him like a 10. Then for the color, we're just going to make the color basically the typical. We're just going to make a typical mob for the spawn boss section tutorial. And yeah, alright. So then for the health bar color, we'll do color 3 dot from RGB as usual, just for hell of it, because why not? And then what we're going to do is give this guy the boss data too, maybe. I'll see why not. So I guess what we got here, not that. Where is it? We used. Okay. Let's just go ahead and use the pirate as an example real quick to get the boss bar stuff. So boss data at distance 75. Yeah, we'll do that then. And then what we can do next after that is paste in here. And then, give a second. And then that's pretty much it. Also, I guess since we are gonna, I guess I'll show you guys how to do the refresh data. Refresh data is basically like, I think I went over this before, but basically the instant refresh data is basically like when the mob has been attacked in a while, it'll basically go back to full health. Unlike refresh regenerate data, which regenerate data, by the way, it basically is like regenerates the mobs and stuff. So, instead of it just being like instantly regenerated. So yeah, anyways, that's pretty much the difference. I had to look at the code, but basically thinking about regenerate data is basically you regenerate over time, while instant refresh data is basically just you get your health back fully. That's pretty much what that difference between these two are. But yeah, anyways, now that we got that away, let's go ahead and give this guy some XP. I can't remember what we got here, so I think we gave him like, okay, let's go on for the XP. We'll go and give him like 68 level, 68 XP, and 22 gold. We'll do the item later for now, because I just feel like we'll do the item later, just for the hell of it. But that's pretty much how you do it. Next up, let's go ahead and go over the health, since the health we've done that before. I'm trying to figure out what we should do for the health. Let me check what I did here. I did something like 333. Okay, we'll just do 63 for HP. If that is the case, maybe. Yeah, we could do 60 for the health, and then, or maybe we should do like, let me see what the Sand Sage's health is, real quick. Sand Sage's health is 38, so it shouldn't really be that big of a deal. Okay, So now that we got that out of the way, I am going to show you how, I guess, wow, we're done real quick. Let me just check real quick that we're done. No, we're not done, actually. We gotta do the damage real quick. Damage we did is, we'll just do, 21, I guess, or 22 maybe? Yeah, I guess we do 22. Yeah, I guess we'll do 22, so, yeah. Alright, so now that we got that out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and copy this guy, and now we got this guy done. There's gonna be, I'll show you how to do mobs right now. So the spawn mobs, basically you're gonna need to get rid of its mob tag if it does have a tag, and move him into server storage assets entity spawns. This is where the spawn, this is where you'll find all the spawn all the spawn mobs in here, like Pyre for example, and all that stuff. So now we got that out of the way, we're gonna go into config, go into spawners, and this is where you'll find the mobs used that'll spawn. So this is like a template. This is basically like what they recommend. This is basically like everything that you have. You got the clock type spawn type, the event type spawn type, the check type spawn type. Clock is like every second. Event is basically like when you fire an event, can spawn mob and stuff like that, which can be found in the remote section over here. Or there's a check spawn type, which basically checks every second whether the parameters are given. So basically like an example of this would be like if the player's stat is level is 5 or something, I don't know, something like that. Checks the value for something. So yeah, what we're gonna do is basically copy this. I will say though, there's also a lot of people have been asking me that keeps on breaking every time they mess with this. Well, I feel like what people forget about is this. You need to make sure you have a comma right here. And all that stuff. You may also see that this is red now too. That's because there are two pirates. We're going to change that real quick. So what we're going to do is change this to Seal's King. We're going to make this guy to clock. We're going to change this guy's type to clock. Let's keep this guy's type to clock, and then we're going to change the time. Time will just be 10 seconds because I don't have all day. And for the color, which will be the color of the spawn message, will be that. Alright, now we got that out of the way. Let's go ahead and play the game and see if it works. And we're just going to play again and see if it works. And if it doesn't, then we probably might have screwed up somewhere. But, I mean, that's just how testing is. You gotta work with it, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and work with it. So, we've got Sam and Desert, and the Seals can't spawn right there. So, and I believe he should be right over here, somewhere. Yep, there he is right there, if I'm correct. Yep, that's him. So yeah, that's pretty much him. And so he should, yep, there he is right there, Seal's King. So this is him, level 29, 63 HP, and all that stuff. I love what's up. And there you go. And you should see something on here when he spawns and he dies, you'll see something down here that says Seal's King has died. And that pretty much means that you pretty much did the boss correctly, and it spawns and all that stuff. And then just make sure it does work. You'll see that spawn text message that the Seals King to spawn, all that stuff. So there you have it. Everything's good to go. So yeah, that's kind of one of the more interesting factors of this kit and stuff. And yeah, also I will admit, now a lot of people have also been asking a couple other things too. For example, such as PvP and all that stuff. That requires a lot of scripting, which I don't really have time to really go over. So I'm not really gonna. I don't really feel like going over it because it's kind of difficult to work with here and stuff. But if anyone would like to take a stab at it at some point, want to make their own kit, we're gonna then feel free to. But hey, I mean, I just want to give that a heads up. Oh yeah, and oh yeah, there we go. But yeah, that's pretty much that, honestly. So. Yeah, so overall, we made ourselves the Granny Crossbow, the Sand Staff, and his Egyptian Sword, and all that stuff. So, yeah, we made the Seals King and that other stuff. So, yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it, honestly. So, yeah, I know this tutorial was kind of a bit longer than expected. I did say I was going to only go over the range mods, but I felt like I just kind of want to go over some more stuff that probably a lot of people probably may have wanted to ask about. So, one more thing before we actually head out for reals time. I kind of want to showcase. There's actually one bug in particular that I need to fix a couple weeks ago. And I don't think everyone has seen it yet. But basically, if you're using one of the older versions of ej0w's RPG kit, you'll probably notice that the ranged weapons, the projectiles do kind of float down a bit, and they don't work. They kind of look weird and stuff. Well, to fix that, what you need to do is go to shared casting, in client, and go down until you see this thing. This thing right here on line 32, 432. Remove that and paste into here. This will fix that bug. But yeah, anyway, I just want to make that one quick video, one quick thing before I head out. But yeah. Anyways, that's probably going to be the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. If you guys want to see more videos like this, then please be sure to subscribe, like, and turn on the bell on channel. But you also know this video. And it's on my post or comments in the future. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. And this beginning 6 now. Have a good one, as always.